This week on the Internet Cafe, making money online. If you want to manage your finances online, check out the new Quicken website. You may not need to buy the software. This man is a Nobel Prize winner in economics. He's put his research online so you can use his financial prediction engines. Want to spend money online? We'll explain DigiCash and tell you how to get some. Karen Gilbert runs online banking for Wells Fargo. If you listen to her, you may never have to stand in a bank line again. And if you really have a strong stomach, we'll show you how to invest online. No broker needed. Making money online this week at the Internet Cafe.
The Internet Cafe is brought to you by Z Auction, the live online shopping experience. Additional funding from PC Connection and Mac Connection, the catalog and online superstore with PC and Mac products, toll-free technical support, and overnight delivery. And by Windows Magazine, delivering desktop, enterprise, and internet computing news, reviews, features, and how-tos for a Windows world, because the world runs on Windows. Additional funding from SoftSource Incorporated, publishers of Pro-One's Mathematics Tutor in a Box for school year 98-99, including 6 CDs and workbook.
Well, would you think about buying stocks online or going online to make financial investment decisions?
My girlfriend's an individual investor, and she's kind of got me into the online trading.
Really?
So I'm starting to look at that, but still a little leery. It's just a lot of time you have to spend online looking at all that stuff.
It's a job.
Yeah, I like to have people do it for me, so I'm
Pay
lazy.
him, get the job
I'm
done.
lazy, yeah.
Jane, you?
It's kind of counterintuitive for me. I mean,
Why?
my husband does all of our finances because I leave all my money in my savings account, and he just shakes his head all the time. So I just said, all right, go, play with it, do whatever you need to do. So.
Well, there's a lot of interesting stuff out there, as we're going to see tonight, for people who want to take charge of their own investments and save some money. Lots of good options out there. We're going to find out tonight.
So Jay, you're the VP of Marketing for Quicken.com, and I have to tell you, when I think of Intuit software and I think of Quicken, I think of Quicken, which is my daily financial manager, and I also think about TurboTax and those types of things. And now all of a sudden I go to Quicken.com and I see this huge site with a massive amount of information. What's going on?
Intuit is best known for Quicken and TurboTax and QuickBooks, which is desktop software. About a year ago, the company looked at what important changes the internet was causing to happen across all of our business lines, and we decided we've got to focus our whole company around these internet activities. And we've put tons of energy into Quicken.com, and the result is what you've seen.
It's huge, yeah, I can't believe it. So give me a flavor for all of the different services that you've got at Quicken.com.
Quicken.com is about helping people, giving people financial tools and information that are highly personalized to their own preferences. So we help people with the whole range of their finances, from managing their investments to planning for retirement, to getting help and tools at tax time, to looking for mutual funds.
I notice I can even buy my insurance as well.
You can comparison shop for insurance, you can comparison shop for mortgage. So the big areas of your financial life, we give you these objective tools that help you get real-time rate quotes from lots of different vendors all at the same time, and then be able to compare them on an apples-to-apples basis at one time so you can get the best decision for you.
So this is a great service, and now I noticed that you've also got chats, and you've got message boards, and you've got some interesting links as well. Now, tell me, how does this relate all back to Quicken and TurboTax and all of the other software that you sell?
Our mission is about helping people manage their finances in a totally effortless way, and the internet is perfect for that. And in addition to what we're doing on our websites, we're also bringing the internet into our desktop software products. So if you're a Quicken user or TurboTax, we bring the best of our sites into those products in a way that's highly personalized to what you're doing in Quicken or TurboTax or QuickBooks.
So can you give me an example of how that would work?
So in Quicken, you can also, you pay your bills and manage your investments.
Right.
We bring information about your investments into Quicken so that you can have it right there in your desktop.
So it actually links into a profile, for example?
It links into Quicken.com, and you get the best of both worlds.
Okay, so now how does that link in? Let's say I've got a bank account with Wells Fargo, for example. Does it link? Do you have linkages with your software to?
You can manage that information in Quicken. You can link automatically into where you can also manage your banking relationships, and you can also get the best of the information that we have from the web. So it's a one-stop shop.
So it's kind of everything I ever needed to get. Now, what's next for Quicken.com? Is it just going to get bigger and bigger?
We'll continue to help people add decision tools that cover even more areas of your financial life and give you more choice in how you can manage your investments and so forth. We've got some exciting new things that have just happened recently. In the Portfolio Manager for Quicken.com, it gives you a real dashboard where any information you can imagine about the stocks and mutual funds you own is right there. So not only the basic quote and chart and news, but we look at over 300 content sites that might mention any of the stocks. Like if you own IBM, we search 300 sites to see if any of those things are covered by those sites. We look at analyst recommendations, what they're saying. You can see what other consumers are saying about IBM stock. So it's a one-stop source.
And so these are some of the new services that you're adding on?
Some we've already done, and we'll continue to innovate in that areas where that help people make even more decisions in the areas of finance.
So just really more and more information that's relevant
more
for me.
tools, and more personalization. So it's totally appropriate, for your needs.
Well, it's an incredible site. Thanks very much,
Thanks
Jay.
so much.
For URLs of today's featured websites, check out the Internet Cafe site at cmptv.com.
So this is Professor William Sharp of Stanford University, and I guess significantly also Nobel laureate professor. 1990, I guess, you won the Economics Nobel Prize. And what was the work that got you the prize, Bill?
It was basically work on what is called the capital asset pricing model, which reduced to its very simplest possible terms, says that in a reasonably efficient market, higher expected return goes with the possibility of doing badly in bad times. So you get higher return for bearing not just risk, but a particular kind of risk, which is that you're going to be on the ropes when everything's falling apart.
All right.
Also known as beta. If you want.
Now, how does that relate to what you've come up with? You have a website now called financialengines.com in which you say you have developed a more sophisticated way for individual investors to evaluate investments or 401k plans right now. How does it work?
What we're trying to do is help the individual figure out if they invest a certain way, if they save a certain amount, if they plan to retire at a certain time, not where they will be when they retire, because nobody can tell you that, but rather what is the likely range of where they'll be. In other words, we're trying to help them project into the future, get some notion, what's the chance they'll meet their goal, how bad could a bad outcome be, and we're also trying to help them find sensible combinations of, say, the mutual funds in their plan to achieve that goal.
I know this is very complicated stuff,
but get me started.
But how is what you're doing better than some of the other little engines we see sitting in some of the software programs on other investment websites?
Well, I think the big difference between what we're doing and what some others are doing is that we're acknowledging there's risk in the world, and the very essence of investing in equities, for example, is that you're taking higher risk in order to get higher long-term or expected returns. So we're not hiding from risk. We're saying, yes, Virginia, there is risk, and we're trying to give you a sense of the chance you'll meet your goal. We can't say you're definitely going to do it or you're definitely not. Nobody can.
I want to talk about the demo simulation that you have on your website, in which you're going to get to kind of visually see what it is you're doing. And as I recall, I said, $10,000 over 10 years or something, what's likely to happen? And you ran 500 different potential scenarios looking at different possible interest rates and inflation rates, et cetera, et cetera. I got the feeling it was like a chess game, like Deep Blue, that's sort of thinking through all the possible moves. Is that really what you're doing?
In very much in a sense, it is exactly what we're doing. What we're saying is that interest rates could be high, they could be low. Inflation is tied to interest rates. Stock returns are related to interest rates. All these things are intertwined. So we're engaging in what's called Monte Carlo simulation, which tries to project different paths the future could take, taking into account the way markets work.
All right, the net result in running through the simulation was, you told me that worst case, my 10,000 after 10 years might be worth 13,000, or best case, maybe 31,000 or something like that. What do I now do with that information?
Well, you look at not only those, but also some sense of the range and say to yourself, can I live with that? Is that going to do it for me? And if it's not going to do it for you, then
in terms of the low-end risk.
Right, the low-end risk and the chance of having a comfortable retirement towards the upper end. And so basically what you have to say is, if that's not going to do it for me, then I've got to either save more, or I've got to change my investment strategy, or I've got to plan to retire later. And so you can play with those alternatives till you come up with a combination that works for you.
Real briefly, Bill, does the individual guy now have access to the kind of computing power that used to be available only to the billion-dollar pension fund manager?
Yes.
Yes, in
Yes.
simple
In a
terms.
word, yes.
That's encouraging. Well,
Yeah.
we're going to check out your site. Thanks, Bill.
All right, thank you very much.
For URLs of today's featured websites, check out the Internet Cafe site at cmptv.com.
So we're talking about money online, and I think one of the things that keeps coming up is e-commerce. E-commerce is going to be the big thing. But how do people go on and purchase small items, 25 cents, dollar items? You can't do that with a credit card. I understand your company, DigiCash, actually has a solution. What is e-cash?
Well, DigiCash invented electronic money, and we call it eCash. And eCash is, in effect, a very special set of numbers that represent money that can move with the speed and efficiency of all internet transactions from one party to another.
So how does this work? There's a bank, and you go and set it up, or what do you have to do?
That's right. You would enroll with the bank that's providing the service to you, the consumer or the merchant, and you would sign up for the service, get the software, and prearrange to convert money from your checking account or current account into the electronic form.
And that can all be done pretty much online.
Online,
Right.
point and click, it literally takes seconds to do that conversion. Once that money is sitting on your hard drive, whenever you come to a merchant that is selling a good, you just click and pay, and it's that quick.
And it just subtracts it right from your balance, and you can go. And I'm assuming you can use this for the smaller transactions that maybe a credit card wouldn't be able to do.
That's right. eCash is roughly the same cost as an email message as opposed to a credit card, which is really runs into economic barriers at about a $30 level. So I can move a penny and give you change with eCash.
So it's a lot more cost efficient. Okay, now you mentioned that this is something that lives on your hard drive, and that makes me think, well, what about either losing your eCash, maybe your hard drive crashes, or people actually breaking into it? What are some of the security risks? Or
We've thought about that, and should your hard drive crash or somebody steal your computer, you would simply contact your bank, give them a special password that you had set up when you enrolled, and they would disable all of the coins that were on your hard drive and issue you new ones.
so they basically can keep track of what you're spending and what. Okay, well, who's using this kind of eCash now, and is it starting to kind of pick up and take off?
Yeah, there's a considerable growth in the product. We have several banks in Europe, Asia, Australia, and Japan that are actively using our service. And we have several banks in the U.S. that are about to announce programs, but I can't reveal who they are today. But
So banks are excited about this. This is
banks
something
are
they're
excited about
interested
this,
in.
and this is the only real-time internet-designed form of money that provides the user with anonymity. It allows you to see what you're paying in your own currency before you buy, which no other payment system does today. So if you're browsing and you see something in Polish zloty, you'll know what it is in U.S. dollars
And
before you agree to buy
so it does the conversion for you
Right.
automatically.
Real time, unlike credit cards, which do it at the end. So even if you were to see it, you'd have to kind of figure out what that was before you knew how to purchase it.
What kind of online merchants are you seeing that are interested in this now?
You get the gamut, but a lot of them are what we'd call a content provider. Somebody who has a digital good, a picture, an article, a piece of music, that would download that to you, where they're very concerned about a final payment that comes to them quickly.
And hard to set a price on it sort of otherwise in the real world, but
Right.
this way it's like a microtransaction.
Exactly. Plus, credit cards offer recourse. So if there's something that goes wrong, the merchant can actually have the money taken away from them later on. Somebody with digital goods is a little concerned about that, so they like the fact that just like a cash transaction, once they have the eCash, the money's moved from the consumer to the merchant.
Okay,
It's
I
all
like this idea. I have a lot of spare change in my bedroom. I think I'm going to go and convert it to DigiCash.
If you watch TV these days, you see a slew of ads for online brokerage services telling you can buy and sell stocks online, no need for a broker. Larry Magid, you're a resident net expert. We're going to be talking about this a little bit later in the show with somebody who does that. I want to ask you, is that safe, or is it kind of like gambling online?
Well, it's safe if you're very careful, as long as you are absolutely sure you really want to buy this stock or mutual fund, because once you buy it, you bought it.
A mouse click, you're
And
done.
there's
You
nobody-
spent the money.
And nobody's going to talk you out of it.
Right.
It's you and the machine. Once you've made that decision and you're very careful, you put in the right amount, you put in the right security. I've made mistakes before, and when you make a mistake, unless there's some kind of a backup plan, you could be in trouble.
Now, the other issue is people get nervous. Did something really happen? I clicked sell, but did I really sell that stock?
The service should give you some kind of a validation number or a transaction number. And if you have any questions, you can call their 800 number. In most cases, talk to a real agent who can verify
what you
that
could
you've
have done
the
in
right
the first place.
Right, and also if you made a mistake, they might be able to get you out of it, maybe.
Is this kind of the beginning of the end? We hear that the middleman is going away on the internet. It's you and me against the end user, or with the end user, the end seller, the end buyer, whatever. Would you want to be a stockbroker these days?
I wouldn't be a stockbroker or a travel agent these days. I think it really is a question of buyers and sellers connected directly over the internet.
For URLs of today's featured websites, check out the Internet Cafe site at cmptv.com.
We're talking about money online, and if there's one thing I can't stand, it's having to go to the bank, do all my banking. It takes forever, wait in lines. You're our expert here from Wells Fargo. Give me a sense of what online banking is like right now, and is it really getting me out of those lines?
Well, absolutely. Online banking allows you to do almost anything that you can do in a branch today or on the telephone. And the great news about it is it's easy, it's convenient, it's fast, so you can bank whenever you want to bank. You can check your account balances, you can look at checks to see if they've cleared, you can check credit card transactions.
So everything that I can do pretty much in the real world, I can do in the banking world.
Pretty much everything you can do.
Now, is this easy to do? Is this something that your average person can just get on and sign up for an account, or do you have to kind of know some special?
You don't have to know anything special at all. It's very easy. You just go to the website, www.wellsfargo.com. And if you're an existing customer, you can apply right online. You get a password, and immediately you can start checking your accounts. You can also sign up for bill pay, which allows you to pay anybody. You can pay all of your bills, like your mortgage.
Oh, really? So how do you actually do that? I mean, it seems like someone has to write out the addresses and things like that. Is that?
No, actually, it's become so popular that there are more and more billers that are signing up with an electronic transfer. So you just enter the date, you look at a list of billers, or if the biller that you'd like to pay is not on that list, you can actually enter an address yourself. So for example, if you'd like to pay me when you sign up for bill pay, you can put my name and address in and you can send me $20.
So someone in the bank actually issues a check and mails that to the person?
Yes.
Great. Now, these sound like things that maybe cost more or additional services? Is this free, or how does the pay structure go?
Well, online banking is free to anybody.
Really?
If you have a checking account or a savings account or a credit card with us, you can check your balances, you can move money. The bill pay service is $5 a month.
A month, okay.
Unless you have balances of $5,000 in your accounts, then it's free.
And then I can avoid it. Okay, so this sounds
great.
like a great thing. Well, how many people are actually doing this type of online banking with you folks, or maybe even around the country? Do you know?
Well, it's really taken off. It's estimated that only about 250,000 people were banking online in 1994, and at the end of last year, there were upwards of about 4.5 million people in the United States banking online, so it's just growing exponentially.
So it's something that people are really kind of taking advantage of.
Yeah, they do. And it's because it's easy. Again, it's so fast. Your computer's sitting on your desk, you're on the internet for work or for fun or whatever you're doing, and now, as you said, you don't have to go to the bank anymore. You can just click over to Wells Fargo and pay those bills or move money or check your account balances.
And I won't have to go into any more lines.
No
so what
more
is the
lines.
future of online banking? It sounds like it's all there already. So.
Well, there are all kinds of things, but one of the great things to look forward to is called bill presentment. And not only will you be able to pay bills as I described today, but you'll actually have billers start sending you your bills through your computer or through your web TV.
To you or to your bank account?
You'll be able to go to your bank, you go to Wells Fargo, and any of the billers that you've signed up with who present bills will have a bill right there waiting for you.
And then I can just do my bill pay, and it'll actually pay
go
it
on,
automatically
see your
as
bill,
well.
Say, I want to pay it today, I want to pay it next week, or I'm a little short of cash, I'm going to wait till the end of the month to pay it.
Right.
Be right there, no more envelopes,
No more paper.
stamps,
Wow.
no mess.
Oh, it sounds like a great service.
Yeah, it's great.
For URLs of today's featured websites, check out the Internet Cafe site at cmptv.com.
Now, Alex, I know it's pretty easy for me to pick up a phone and phone a full-service broker and start to buy and trade stocks. But now there's this world online for online trading, and I'm completely overwhelmed. What's the difference between online trading and regular brokerages?
Well, with a traditional brokerage, first of all, you're either walking into the branch office or picking up the phone. And more often than not, you have a full-service broker who is not only giving you advice, but advising on the suitability of different ideas you may have and taking an active role in your investing. On the internet, the immediacy of a world of information and access to trading is brought to the consumer. So as we're seeing over and over, consumers now in control of their investing.
So now basically what you're saying is I'm much more empowered to be doing the trading, and now the rumor I've heard is that a trade would typically cost around $300 if I phoned a full-service broker, and if I did it online, it's what, $10? Is that right?
Well, a full-service trade can cost $300 or more. That's absolutely true, because the full-service broker is charging for all of the research and advice they give on the trade. The trade itself on the internet is as low as $5.
But the big point here, though, is if I'm going to go online, I really need to take a much more proactive role in the actual transacting of stocks.
Right. Well, in fact, that's one of the benefits of going online, because individuals end up learning more about the markets and about their investing needs. And so at the end of the day, they're more confident that they are managing their finances effectively.
So now tell me, with the growth online with all of these online brokers, how many are there today? I mean, I just keep seeing more and more of them coming up and more advertisements. How many do we have?
Well, today we count 75 true internet brokers, and that's up from 18 a year ago.
That's a huge growth. So the next step, of course, is how do I make my choice on which online broker I pick? And that's why I wanted to ask you, since Alex, you're a partner at Gomez Advisors, and you've got a great site.
Thank you.
And you really sort of help people like me walk around and try to figure out who I should pick. Tell me a little bit more about the type of services that Gomez offers.
Well, every quarter, Gomez Advisors collects around 140 data points for every internet broker. And those data points go into 5 main categories: ease of use, customer confidence, cost, relationship services, and on-site resources. We collect all that information and come up with scores that say how good each broker is in each of those important areas. And we compare that for the different customer profiles that we've identified on the internet.
So what different customer profiles do you have?
Well, the hyperactive trader is the dominant persona today.
Okay.
They're trading to beat the market today.
Okay.
And on the other extreme, the life goal planner and the one-stop shopper are not investing to beat the market. They're investing to manage their responsibilities and make the chore of investing a little bit more manageable.
So I'm probably more of a life goal planner. So what would I look for in a online broker?
Well, for life goal planners, customer confidence is very important. Can you access your money, your account information, and this institution when you need to? You're not fully confident to act entirely on your own, so you look for educational materials about the markets, about meeting your investing needs, and maybe even a relationship with a financial planner, which is possible through internet brokers.
Cool. Okay, so now just a quick tip. Who are the top 3 online brokers today based on your scorecard?
Okay. In the overall category, DLJ Direct, E-Trade, and Waterhouse Securities are the top 3.
Thanks for the tip.
Well, anybody learn anything? You're going to join your girlfriend? You're going to join your husband in doing this stuff seriously?
You know what? The online banking thing really kind of sparked my interest. I hate standing in line at the banks, and this really is going to eliminate that. So I'm ready to go check it out.
Ready to do that? Okay, online banking, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
I've got a list of websites written down, so tomorrow I'm going to phone my husband. I'm going to say, honey, check this one and this one and this one. Yeah, exactly.
Well, what I think we learned again today in this show is we've learned so many times, it's this level the playing field story again. You know, as my guy, the Nobel Prize winner from Stanford said, you and I have the same tools with a computer and with the web that the guy who managed the billion-dollar portfolio had just a couple of years ago. So it really makes the whole investment world quite different. I think it makes it more interesting and maybe more fair, who knows. Another paradigm shift with the net.
Right, and if it makes it easier, I think that's really the key, too.
Easier to make money, easier to lose money.
Easier to go to the bank,
Easier
right.
all the way around.
All right, that's it tonight at Cybersmith. We'll see you here next time at the Internet Cafe.
The Internet Cafe is brought to you by Z Auction, the live online shopping experience. Additional funding from PC Connection and Mac Connection, the catalog and online superstore with PC and Mac products, toll-free technical support, and overnight delivery. And by Windows Magazine, delivering desktop, enterprise, and internet computing news, reviews, features, and how-tos for a Windows world, because the world runs on Windows. Additional funding from SoftSource Incorporated, publishers of Pro1 software, educational software for young adults.
To purchase a videotape copy of today's program, call toll-free 1-888-310-7850. Please specify the show number and the topic.